Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Wine, Women, and Life. I'm your host, Ariel.
I'm Christina.
And today we're going to talk about being married by the age of 30.
Oh, yes. I have a lot to say on this one because, I'm a particular 30-something age here. So.
Yes, 30-ish. It's fine.
30-ish. 23 for like the umpteenth time, But
right. So, like for me, I know I was having a conversation with someone in my family who's like a teenager.
Okay.
And they were saying, well, I don't want to be 50 and my kid's 10.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, yeah, I get it. That's one thing I do appreciate by having my children young. I'm able to keep up with them. Like I'm still able to, go out in the yard and play football with my boys, race with my 2-year-old, because my body's able to move and I'm still able to work and do all kind of things because I'm still young.
Right.
But to be honest, if I can do it all over again, keep my same babies, I would totally wait till after 30.
Okay.
I was 19 when I was pregnant with my oldest, and I was 20 when I had him. There were so many things that I wanted to do when I came out of high school. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to travel. Financially, I wanted to be set for whenever I had my children. But as a little girl, I always, was playing in the sheets and I would put it over my head and act like I was walking down the aisle, getting married. And I always wanted a boy and a girl. And at the time, I wanted to be done by 30. I was married before I was 30. And like I said, if I had the choice to do it again, I would do it differently. I would wait.
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying. Because when I was before I was a teenager, while I was a teenager, I was planning my wedding. I planned how many kids I wanted to have. All of that. Like I couldn't wait. And I thought that it was going to happen for me when I was in my 20s. I was like, all of this is going to come about when I'm in my 20s. But I had a few setbacks anyway because my mom did not allow me to date until I was 25. I don't know if I've ever told you that before.
You know what? I think you did tell me because I think I almost had the same reaction. I was just about to have all over again. 25, yeah. I remember.
25. So,
and that's because it's your religion, right?
No, partly that and partly her, because she felt she got married too young. So that's why she's like, well, no, you should be a little older, at least 25, because the Bible says to be passable like youth. And so she intermingled her experiences with the Bible. I came up with 25. So, but I seriously thought, I said, okay, between 25 to 30, I'm going to have a husband. I'm going to have at least one kid by then. That didn't happen. 29 came around, 30 came around. And I would say probably within, more recently, my thought pattern has totally changed on getting married and having kids. Like I'm at a point now where I can see myself having a kid like closer to 40. And the thing is, I'm trying now because if I do end up having kids, it will be later. Anyway, I probably will be closer to 40. But what I'm doing now is trying to be as healthy as possible so that I can have the energy. Because like you said, when you're in your 20s, you can get up, go run. You're not like, oh, I'm a little tired. So, but
it don't hit to your 30s.
But nowadays, 40 is the new 25, you know,
Yes.
45,
Yes.
30, because people are upping their health game. They're drinking more water. They're taking more vitamins. They're eating better. And that adds to the, yes, honey. And wait, first, let me pause. Can we just take a moment?
Oh, let's take a gander at my lemon water.
First, I'm admiring the top right here. And then she has the glass of lemon water to match. Absolutely gorgeous. You belong on TV. A lemon water commercial. Oh my God. But yeah.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Back to things here. But yeah, I see myself actually having kids later. And a lot of it has to do with growth. I think I was in a rush for a very long time. And I know that as women, we have a biological clock. It's very real. You know, if we want to be really real with it, our eggs start to decrease at the age of 30. And then by the age of 35, it decreases even more so. Doesn't mean that we still don't have, it doesn't mean that we're still not fertile, but it just means our chances are a little bit lower. And a lot of it does depend on, you know, your body and your health. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I can wait. My maturity levels are different. So that's why I feel like I can have a kid closer to 40, and I'm still growing in my 30s, you know, of a particular 30-something age. I'm still growing, but yeah, I can genuinely see that. But the pressure is on though. I'm not gonna. I see things on YouTube all the time. I don't know. You've heard of Kevin Samuels. We talked about Kevin Samuels before, and he had this video. I like some of his stuff, but not everything. He had this video saying, like, you know, by the time a woman hits 30, oh no, he said when you pass 27, 28 years old, that's when it's just over. And I'm just like,
but what does he mean? What's over?
Getting married, like finding a suitable husband, and then trying to have kids. And I read the comments, of course. You know, I go to the comments, and I saw a lot of men say that, yeah, I don't go for women. Like, if I'm on a dating app, I don't go for women 35 or over because they may not be able to have kids. So when I see things like that, yeah. Oh, yeah. Guys are saying this. When I see
now, I can see if it was like 35 or older because they're more mature.
Oh, no.
But because they can't have kids?
Yes. And we know that's not true. But that's what they're saying out there. But we know maturity level is probably not there anyway. But sometimes when I see things like that, it affects me. I will admit that. And I start to think like, should I have worked harder on my dating life in my 20s? But I think the most important part is just trying to stay healthy as possible and praying to God. Like, if I do have kids, praying to God that it will happen one day at the right time.
Right. Because we all have to know that, unfortunately and fortunately, everything that happens within our life happens when it's supposed to. Our destiny is already written, you know. So while we're trying to go to the right, we're actually supposed to go to the left, and somehow we'll end up going left anyway because we weren't supposed to go right the entire time.
Yeah.
So I mean, I always look at it that way. Like, I mean, because we all be like, "Oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda," you know. But like I said, if I would have waited to 30, I probably wouldn't have had Christopher or Stanley or Rain.
Right.
You know, there's a reason for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think society has a lot to do with why we want to be married by 30. Like, it's like a saying, you know, by age of 30, you're supposed to have your house, you're supposed to have your husband, you're supposed to have your career established. everything. Like that's always what I've always heard. Like by the age of 30, you should be knowing where you're supposed to be in life. And it's bull crap.
Yep. Yeah.
Because everybody doesn't reach the same stop sign at the same time. Like we all come in at different times of our lives. And there's so many different reasons why we get there at different times, at 35, at 40, at 41, at 28, at 26. It just depends on whatever happened in your life at the time. So I just feel like I feel like people should slow down.
They should.
And enjoy life. Because like I was telling, it's my cousin, I was like, you have the rest of your life ahead of you. I didn't get the chance to go off to college. Like I did a community college. I didn't get a chance to explore as much as I want to. I didn't get a chance to travel as much as I want to. Like I said, I wish I would establish a career so that I was financially prepared for what was coming my way with having kids. I'm like, and then so many young people, we rush our lives, and by the time we look around, 20 is gone.
It's gone.
So I just feel like enjoy it while you can, while you're still alive and you're able to see everything. And then when you get ready to have kids, that's when you're ready to settle down. Because we all reach that point in our life where we're like, you know what? I don't want to go out and kick it no more. Or, you know, I don't feel like doing this. I just want to go and relax with a book or go to a beach instead of a nightclub. You know, we all reach that point. And I think that point is the mature point where we should be having children at, because we're ready to settle down and we're more focused on different things in life.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because kids they're a big responsibility. You know, we've talked about, you know, this before. And
me getting my groove back after my kids leave my house.
What'd you say?
Me getting my groove back after my kids leave my house. Yeah, we've had that conversation. Like, I can't wait to put that bus through school. And then I can go and just.
I know. When they hit 18, bye-bye, y'all. One by one. Bye. Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready. I'm like telling my kids already, scholarships, paperwork, applications, what you need. Mama is here. I'm ready to push you as far as I can and help you out as far as I can. Like,
right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just leave my house.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, right?
I'm not done living.
I don't know. And we're both still young. So yeah, 30s, y'all, 30s is still very young, no matter what society says. 30s, even 40s is still, I feel like 50s is still young, in my opinion. I have seen women and men in their 50s and they look amazing.
Mother and daughters, or father and sons. And I'm like, okay, so who's the dad and who's the mother? Because they look that good.
They look good.
That you can't tell.
You can't tell. Full of energy and everything. And I've seen more and more women having, here's a point here. One of my favorite fashionistas, you know, Tamron Hall? She's not co-host. She actually hosts her own show. Beautiful woman. I just love looking at her fashion. But she got married, if I'm not mistaken, at the age of 47 and had her first kid, beautiful baby boy, at the age of 48.
Oh, wow. She moved fast. She got married. She got pregnant.
Right. If I got married at 47, I'm like, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, I get it. Wasted no time.
We ain't wasted another year. But when
on that wedding night, as a matter of fact, let's pop to it.
Absolutely. When I saw that, it actually inspired me, because I was like, okay, there's hope. There's hope here. There's hope. Of course, she did it by IVF. So, you know, I'm sure everyone's familiar with what that is, in vitro fertilization. So you have to like stick yourself constantly. and it helps with reproduction, but still she was able to give birth. I think she had a natural birth too. If I'm not mistaken, she had a natural birth, no C-section. I got to do research on that, but so don't quote me on that. But and her baby is healthy. So there is hope. I feel like if a woman can keep herself healthy as long as she can, even if you need a little IVF, honey, if love has not come in your life yet, try to hold off a little longer.
Right.
It's okay. Society, they put too much pressure on us as women. It's just too much.
They do. And then you have people that's rushing into marriage only to, their marriage ends up failing because you're strangers, you don't really know each other. And then you have a kid that's caught up in this marriage, and there's drama, and it's so much. Like, if love is love, just love.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel pressured into being someplace that you're not ready to be, that he's not ready to be. Because we all know once you force things, they don't end up well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all yearn for that fairy tale where we can stay together for years. Like, I work for this couple, and talking to the husband, him and his wife have been married 63 years. And I watched them, the way that they react with each other. Like, she's younger than him, but she's like more crankier, and she's bossy. But it's cute because he calls her Schnooks, and he's like, "Oh, Schnooks, just be quiet." Or, and just listening to their stories about life and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And they were married early, but then again, they met after World War II. So back in those days, people got married and they stuck through everything, like everything. They married young.
Yep.
And they got to live, to where they are now, and most of them are just stuck. And that's not a bad thing if it's what it's supposed to be.
Right. And that's another good point as to why, and just in general, statistically speaking, a lot of people are getting married either, I think they said in the US, half of us are not married, or close to half. And as time moves along, they're noticing, more and more people are not getting married, or they're getting married a little later in life. Times have changed. Things are different.
And I hope people, people go by that. Go by what you feel. Don't go by because your mama like, girl, you ain't married yet. You ain't found a man to keep you. No.
I hate when people do that.
I hate when people do that. I've had people do that to me, and I had in my mind, like, I gotta get married. Like, I gotta,
Yeah, it's that pressure. It's peer pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That people don't realize what they're doing. And I want to make this very clear to people who do this. Please stop. Because, you're pressuring a person to get married because that's the thing to do. You're pressuring a person to have kids because you should have kids by a certain age. Pressure is one of the worst things to do to a person because they can fall into something that they shouldn't be in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and also you never know how you can make that person feel. That person may already be feeling, because I know me personally, now I don't, but before I used to feel some type of a way about, like, not being married and not having kids. I still do a little bit, but it's not as bad. That came with therapy and Coach Ken helping me out in the area. But yeah, at one time I felt a certain way. And so when people would tell me, well, you haven't found anybody, you're not married yet, you don't have kids yet, that would actually make me feel really down. So
Yeah.
that's another
I
reason.
know when we talk, I've never told you that. I'm the opposite.
Oh no, you tell me the complete opposite.
I'm like, girl, take your time, honey. It ain't no rush. If you want to experience some kids, I got different age groups. Make sure this is what you want. Because once you get in it, there's no way out.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. This is your responsibility for forever, or up until they're 18, then they can.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? And even past 18. People say 18, but I know for a fact that I still get on the phone and I'm like, Daddy.
Oh,
of course.
Yeah.
Daddy, like that's when I'm talking about one of my best friends, my dad. Because
beautiful.
So it doesn't stop at 18. I think the financial part, that don't even stop because I borrow money too.
Sometimes the financial part doesn't stop. I mean,
it never stops. Until death do us all part, you're always going to be a parent.
Exactly. You're always going to be a parent.
Yeah, always going to be a parent. Until you leave the earth or your child leaves the earth. Yes. That maternal bond would always be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm a stickler for waiting. Wait until you are ready and you are comfortable, you are certain.
Yes. Yeah, actually, true story. I know a couple, or I actually kind of know them, but they're really my mom's friends more so. She said they're older now, but she said that the woman she knew, she got married at the age of 40, and they never had kids. It was just those two, and she said that's one of the best marriages that she's ever seen. She waited till she was 40, and
they never had kids.
And they never had kids. No,
and I've seen that too, and they live happily ever after.
So that's
yeah. It depends on the person. It depends on what you and your husband decide for your marriage. If you guys don't want kids, you don't have to have kids.
Absolutely. Yes. So stop pressuring.
Right. Let people be. Whoever they want to be, let them be. Just let them be. Because I've seen that. I've seen people, they're married and no offspring, and they're just smiling and holding hands, and because we all know the kids make life more complicated, especially when you're married or especially when you're in a relationship. They're kids.
Yeah.
They add joy and stress at the same time.
I was gonna tell you, there's a joy there's a joy too, but yeah, the stress. I've heard multiple people with kids say the same thing. It's both.
It's both.
Yeah, you get all the hugs
and kisses, and the little boo-boos and the I love yous, but you get that, oh shoot, I gotta pay for this, and shoot, I gotta buy this, and you just peed on the floor again.
Yeah, because there's that there's so many different responsibilities. There's the financial responsibility when it comes to having kids. There's the emotional responsibility as well. Physical responsibility, being physically there and with them, spending time with them.
What you said, emotional responsibility. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Some people, and I will honestly say, men, like women, I don't know how we're made, but it clicks. Sometimes, not all women get it, but most of the time it clicks. Like when I became a mother, I didn't know how to change Pampers. I didn't know what to do with it. Aww. It came out and I was like, oh my God, he's cute. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Because no one taught me how to be a mother. So when my son came, I literally was like, I jumped into something that I don't even know, I can't explain it, but I knew to love on this kid. I knew, by watching things on TV and videos or watching my cousins or family members. I just figured out how to change Pampers. And if I didn't know, I would call someone like, hey, the older woman or the doctor, like, should I do this or what should I do? I just jumped into it. Men, they don't have that. Some men don't have that. It takes a while for them to actually realize I'm a father. And this is what it takes for this child to be raised by me. Not just the providing aspect, but the love, the attention, the balance between discipline and showing love at the same time. I think it's harder for men. Some men, it doesn't ever click.
I've heard
And those are the men that probably have a baby mama or they're not with their significant other. And it's unfortunate because the child misses out. But let's be honest, I think it goes off their upbringing. If you're not taught something, it's hard to know unless you take the steps to teach yourself.
that is so true.
So, I mean, a lot of stuff for me within parenting was self-taught by me. So when I had my second child, I'm going off of what I did with my first child. When I had my third child, oh baby, I'm a pro. The only difference was that she was a little girl and I had to clean it a little differently and dress her a little differently. But the love and the responsibility aspect was the same.
Wow.
So people, that is like a stick. You have to be emotionally mature because my saying is when this child comes into the world, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, it's not about me anymore.
Yeah.
I live on this earth to make sure they're okay. To love, to direct, to guide them as best as I can as a person, to be a model for them to see.
Yeah.
To mold them who they're supposed to be when they get older. Like it's not about me no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people, you definitely have to be emotionally mature because if you're not,
I agree.
that poor kid.
I agree.
Honestly, if that poor kid.
Yep. And that's why we have a lot of man childs and woman childs walking
Woman child is running around, just in the club, just
getting it on. And
and man child out here having 7 and 8 different kids by 5 and 4 different women.
Yes.
And all these kids growing up in single family households.
I know. Talk about it.
We gotta do better. Oh, we gotta do better, especially us.
Yes, within the Black community.
We gotta do better.
It's a real thing. Yeah. But it starts with us, when we have kids, like you said, being emotionally mature. And it could go to marriage too. Being mature enough to be a husband, being mature enough to be a wife. Like, I've never been married, but I know, just from looking at friends and family, marriage is not easy. And
you have to be emotionally mature. I mean, because going into the marriage, like I know how I was. I'm like, man, I'm down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because not only when you say those vows, but I think women, we reach a point where we know, like if I want to be married, I'm done with everybody else. I'm done trying to date. I'm done trying to seek out people.
Yep.
And especially if you're not a promiscuous woman. I've never been a promiscuous woman. Like I have to have that intimate bond to be with someone in a sexual way. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about being with one person for the rest of my life. That's exciting for me.
Me too.
It's exciting not having different partners and not having to learn someone to be scared of STDs or something. Like that's exciting to be monogamous. You know what I'm saying? But you have to have that mentality that I'm going to go into this marriage. We're going to communicate and work things out. Seek counseling when you need to.
Absolutely.
And don't rush it. Don't rush the marriage, because you can be with someone for 10 years. But when you move in with that person, it's like, who is this man?
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, or this man is like, who is this woman? Because we only know what we see. When we're going to dates and when we're, Netflix and chilling. But it's different when you waking up to somebody every day and they drawers on the floor and their shoe is by the front door and there's dishes in the sink. You got to be emotionally prepared for that.
Absolutely.
When they eat and their mouth is open and food is out, you're going to love them through that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all those small little details.
Yep. That's so true. And one thing I want to add to that, men usually take longer to mature versus women. So that's another thing to consider.
Sometimes you have a woman that's, not ready. But most of the time it's
right. Exactly. Just on average, generally speaking. But yeah, women, we need to mature too ourselves. But I would say logically, men take a little longer to mature. So that's something to take into consideration as well. So yeah, that's why we should never pressure anybody into getting married or having kids. Just don't do it. Just let them. We should really be encouraging people to grow. We should be encouraging them, like you said, to do everything they can, travel.
If your mental health, if you've done with depression or if you've done with trauma or abuse, heal. That's big. You gotta heal before you place yourself in another person's life for the rest of your life and their life. You have to be healed.
Gotta heal.
You don't know what kind of pain you can place upon that woman or that man in your children's life.
Yes.
You got to be healed before I really believe, because there's so much damage that can be done within your marriage, within your household. If you have an individual holding on to hurt or pain or whatever happened before they met that person, it'll just be like a downfall.
Absolutely.
So, meaning if you have to date someone for 5 or 6 years or 8 years before they're ready, go ahead. As long as you're happy and that person's happy, take all the time you need before y'all walk down that aisle and say, I do for the rest of y'all life.
Yeah.
Like Chrissy and Jim Jones. They've been together for forever.
Ooh, Lord, they've been together for a long time.
I was kind of upset when she proposed and he was like, nah. But now I'm looking for it from a different aspect. Maybe he knew he wasn't ready to be married at that time. That's why he told her no. Yeah. And she understood, if I leave this man, this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. So I just feel like it's not our place to speak on their relationship. They look beautiful together. They look like they're enjoying their life. They got properties. They have money. When you see them together, they complement each other.
Mm-hmm. They grown folks. Let them be
grown. Let them be.
Let them do it. Exactly. Yeah, because everybody's different. Everybody's different. So we shouldn't judge this person versus this person over here. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Blind Women Life. This was a beautiful discussion. I absolutely enjoyed it. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.